Hello, hello, Facebook. Happy Friday, TGIF. Best day of the week. That's a great thing. There's some acrylic on my skin. I missed it yesterday. Over here, too. It's coming off easy now, though. Anyway, I'm popped off. I didn't put any peel base on yet because we're going to swatch today before the mani, and I want to do the mani immediately after I apply the peel base and it dries. I'm really excited to do today's mani. We're going to use dips from this collection. Super excited. Let's pull up the live. Comments. All right. We're good. Alrighty. I'm gonna start. I have my swatch sticks prepped, which means they're numbered and the name of the dip is on there. These are all kind of like retro 80s, maybe 90s, throwback, maybe 90s. I don't know, throwback names. So the blue is called Jelly Sandals, and this is their Neon Flake Collection. So it's not all flakies, but it's got flakes in it. I have not even opened all of them. I think I looked at 2. This one's Jelly Sandals, but they're so bright and pigmented, which is what I'm looking for because we're doing a sunset ombre with neon pigments today. I wanted to do it the other day, totally messed up and did a rainbow nail. So we're doing the sunset one today. So this is Jelly Sandals right here. It's beautiful. That's the blue. Then we got Charm Necklace, which is the pink. This one I did look at. It's super bright. And it's got like what it looks like is small flakes in it. So it's not like heavy flakes, what I can tell. This yellow, I really like this yellow. I think we're going to be using it today. It's called Banana Clip. And I'm not going to lie, I had loads of banana clips. And I would still use a banana clip because my hair is thick and they actually held my hair. This is gorgeous. I love it. Oh yeah, we're using that. Look at the flakes in that. That's really pretty. I need a drink. 1 second. Okay. The orange one is called Leg Warmers. And here it is. So I know for sure I'm going to use the purple and the pink. But I was debating between orange and yellow, but I think I'm going to use the yellow. I'm just going to do 1 nail each with those 3 colors. And then my 2 accent nails are going to be my middle and ring. And those we're going to use neon pigments on. But I'm going to use yellow, pink, and purple. And they're going to blend. Pink and purple, though, are going to blend to like a... Will they blend to blue? No, they won't. Hi, Tara. Good afternoon. I'm showing these off real quick before we swatch them. This one is, I forget the name, Slap Bracelet, I think. Hold on. We're going to swatch them, too. I got my swatch sticks ready. Yeah, this is one. The purple is Slap Bracelet. Super bright. There's some flakies in it. And the green one is called Get Slimed. Well, this is cute too. I'm super excited. This is like a must-have collection in my book. So let's swatch them. I gotta flip them over so I can see what's what. Let's do the blue one first, Jelly Sandals. I think I'm gonna try. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get this whole thing in the jar. So many cupcake liners to have to use. Alright, we're using these Model 1 liquids. Did your mail come yet, Tara? Alright. This is cute. This is what it looks like after one dip, still slightly sheer. How are you today? It's going to be a beautiful day. I already had to put the air conditioner on and shut the windows. So these flakes are nice and soft and flexible. Oh yeah, this is pretty. There's a good amount of flakies in it. That's beautiful. Beautiful. So it's got like pink, green, it's got all different color foil or flakes in it, but I see like pink, gold, green, a little bit of blue in there. Really pretty. But yeah, these dips are definitely pretty pigmented. Good, that's a good thing. Hi, Patty. Oh no, bad thunderstorm? Oh, you got the green? I'm not going to use the green today. I think I'm going to use the yellow, the pink, and the purple. And then remember how the other day when I was doing that sugar bottom dips mani, you guys, and I was talking, I was like, oh, I'll make this a sunset theme mani. Do sunset nails with the neon pigments instead of rainbow. And then I totally forgot and just went and did a rainbow nail. So today we're doing that sunset mani. And these colors are going to be perfect for it. All right. Next up, leg warmers. That's the orange one. So I was originally going to do orange, pink, and purple, but I'm going to do yellow, pink, and purple instead. I've done a sunset mani before, used orange, but when we ombre the pigments, I'm going to ombre the yellow into the pink. So I'm going to get orange, you know what I mean? Brush this off. So this orange one is leg warmers. And I do love bright oranges. But I don't do a lot of manis with yellow, so that was kind of one of the reasons I was going to go for it. And then the other reason is because the way it's going to ombre on the accent nails, right? Oh, and then on those accent nails, we're going to stamp some palm trees or some kind of beachy scene. And then I'm going to do one color on each finger. So like one finger is going to be purple, one's going to be pink, and one's going to be yellow. So you grab the green one, Tara? They're really pretty. I really like the blue one. Blues. There we go. Yeah, look at that color. That's a nice shade of blue. So that's Jelly Sandals, and now here is leg warmers, the orange. I like this one a lot too. All right, next charm necklace. That's the pink. It's a bright pink too. Hi, Janet. Ooh, you got here nice and early. Oh, your 3 mystery boxes. Yeah, you said didn't ship yet, right? This one is Revel Nails Neon Flake Collection. It just came out. It was a birthday gift. So, and um, but yeah, you can buy it as a collection. I think it's $55, or you can buy them individually. So this is charm necklace. We're going to use this today. So they're in them, Janet. They're not all flake. Oh, guess what? Heather at Luxie is making me a custom for my birthday to use in the collab. I don't want to say anything else, but I think it's going to be perfect in my mind. So I'm super excited. I said I need a ½ ounce of it. So she's going to work on it. I can't wait to see. I also have some birthday decals from Nails Truly, but I don't know if it's going to work in my mani. We'll have to see. I kind of wanted to use them. Look how pretty. That's charm necklace. So Janice, and you missed the other ones. These are the first 3. It's a 6-dip collection. The blue is jelly sandals. The orange is called. And then the pink is charm necklace. Yeah, it didn't start till 12:30 today. I had a doctor's appointment on the phone at 11:40, so live late. Just started. That's what I was saying. Oh, you got here just right at the beginning. So now we have the green, the yellow, and the purple left to swatch. Let's do the yellow banana clip. I'm going to use this one today, I think. Oh, look at that. They should make these all glow. I wonder if they do glow. I don't think so, but that'd be cool if they did. This looks like it would glow on its own. It's like a highlighter yellow. There's one dip of it. I'm going to pop these in my lamp. I want to see if they are going to glow or not. They're definitely, well, the pink and the orange are definitely UV reactive. I can see that. So there's one dip of the banana clip. Let's do another layer. Yeah, once you go in, you don't even have to like shake the cupcake liner to get a lot of flakes to the top. But once you go in after your second dip, there's a good amount of flakes on there. Gorgeous. Put that in there too. Okay. Now, let's do Get Slimed. That's the green one. That reminds me of Nickelodeon. Yeah, aren't they nice colors, Janet? Maybe I can send you a little bit of each from the collection. All right. I don't think any of these are glowing. I don't think they glow. No biggie. Just would have been a little added bonus. I still love them just as much. Plus my Moon Dust nail dips order came. I ordered something like 15 dips. I'm not going to swatch those today, though. I probably won't swatch them on a live. I'll probably do them later on. And Nancy, she goes by Diphoria on Instagram. She's got a pretty heavy Facebook presence, too. Can't think of her last name, but it's Nancy. She's got long, square nails. Very pretty. She posts them for the love of dip a lot, comments a lot on photos. Somebody said her last name, I would recognize it. But she also joined Moon Dust Nail Dips with me, and then there's 2 other girls. So now Brandis and Nancy are both there. So that's pretty awesome. Well, this is like a huge flake on here. Let's see if I can get that off. I don't think it belongs there. I'll get it out. Alright, let's pat this down. I like to pat down my flakies. Oh, so I have Annie Elise pulled up. She just put out this case, Janet, and it's the one on Corey Richens. So I'm going to play this. I have it set up to play.
Mother of 9 kids. I think I waited this long to get those.
So here we go.
Her son's going through this unimaginable grief. It became even more unimaginable when their mother, Corey, was arrested for allegedly murdering Eric by
the air conditioner is on too, so I had the windows open, but got to be too hot.
Again, it went into way more detail about the grease trip, about the poisoning attempts, about.
I'm super excited. So I had an appointment with my doctor, and I last month I asked her about a new antidepressant that 2 separate friends told me that one said they felt better within a day, and then the second one told me she felt better within 2 days. And I trust these people, you know what I mean? So I asked her last month about it, and so she increased the dose of one of my meds. And then this month, I told her I heard again from somebody else about it. I really want to try it, as long as my, as my insurance will pay for it and stuff. And so she agreed, and so she's switching it for me, and I'm super excited.
They called 3 witnesses.
Okay, let's do the purple. Look how beautiful these are, you guys.
And what the trial is probably.
And the purple is purple slap bracelet. I did get slimed on this one. I wasn't paying attention.
There was so much more new information.
Oopsie, I'm gonna have to cross this out. I might just do a new swatch stick for that one though. And the green is also 35.
Give you my thoughts about some of the things that were said and what we can expect going forward with the trial.
Yeah,
First of all,
hope I can fit it on here.
With family and friends of both Eric and Corey.
I'm just going to get a new swatch stick.
Who worked for his stone masonry company came and showed their support in their work uniforms.
These swatch sticks I got off of Shein, I think, or Temu. I think it was Shein.
Her hands were shackled to her waist.
So they came in packs of 50?
Than a well put together woman that we've seen in so many of their family photos. The first witness to be
slap bracelet, and this one we're going to use today too. So the purple, the pink, and the yellow.
The detective was removed and reprimanded for the mishandling of something. I do want to say that the WebEx stream
was
extremely glitchy, so it was hard to hear everything that they were saying. Detective O'Driscoll discussed the acquaintance, CL, which we actually learned was someone who cleaned Corey's family home and worked for her in her cleaning investment
over here.
business. CL
I'm doing my swatches the way I dip my nails, pour over and then lay flat.
For parole during their investigation. While investigating
super pretty.
Eric, they ended up raiding CL's home and found drugs and a firearm, which all went against the stipulations of her parole. She was arrested and while in custody, the detectives told her that she was on the hook for 4 potential first-degree felonies, which had the potential of a life sentence.
I love this is a must-have collection, you guys. Oh my god, the flakes.
But in her initial
flakes.
interview, she told them that Corey never asked her for fentanyl, and that she only gave her hydrocodone. They basically used new charges as leverage to get more information out of her.
All right.
Detective O'Driscoll
look at that.
very common tactic for
that's gorgeous.
told that she needed to provide enough specific information for the prosecution.
I think the purple, the pink, and the blue are my favorites, but I love the green. I love them all. So I think it was like they were all must-haves. Instead of using cupcake liners, I'm going to use, I forgot I have these little dip cup thingies. Let me get my peel base on, and then we'll activate and top coat the swatches.
Oddly enough, the defense believes that there is
Hey Mallory, good morning.
Saying that exact quote.
Oh, rubbing alcohol works to remove the marker? I didn't even know that, Janet. All right, I'll try it. Thank you. Morning, Mallory.
I don't know if I made that specific statement, but I did express to her.
I just watched the Revel Neon Flake Collection, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to use 3 of the dips and my neon pigments to do a sunset themed manicure. Because I was going to do it when I did the sugar bottom dips mani, and then I forgot and did a rainbow nail. So I'm going to do it today. And then we'll stamp like palm trees or some type of... I have decals and I got stamps, so... I have a feeling we'll probably be stamping, but look at these colors, Mallory. I'm going to activate them now.
Because sure, orthopedic sneakers are great for foot, knee, hip, and back pain, and they're amazing if you spend all day on your feet. But then, why should they look like something your Uncle Frank would wear to the gym? Meet Hyper Arch Motion, the orthopedic walking sneakers that complement any outfit while also preventing foot pain in 9 different ways. 1, the unique wave-shaped arch support.
Skip that ad.
The defense believes that the only way that CL was able to give them the information
blue
they
one,
needed
this is Jolie
because they fed them the
Sandals.
information that they wanted her to say.
Banana
But the
clip.
prosecution said
This
that
is
they had
definitely
much
one of my
more
top
evidence than
favorites
just
too.
CL's statements. They also said that CL came to
This
pick up
orange
the check
is a
from
nice
Corey,
shade of
but the defense
orange.
argued that the check could have just been for Corey paying her for
And
the
this one
services,
is
and that there were
leg
never any
warmers.
witnesses or specific text messages
pink
found that
is
explicitly show her receiving
Charm
fentanyl
necklace.
from
I keep
CL.
wanting to call it
At that
charm
time,
bracelet.
From my understanding, what CL told us, she was cleaning only investment properties belonging to the Richards Realty.
And the purple slap bracelet. So this morning I swatched everything. I set a timer for 60 seconds. Put 1 layer of the Model 1's top coat on, and they dried fine. I didn't wipe them off or anything. So I set my timer for a minute, but it might have taken me a minute to, you know, go through all of these. Plus we had to
CL had at first
activate them, right? So let's just let the activator sit for a couple minutes, then we'll top
She
coat
said that
them.
she remembered taking it there.
She now says that.
And here's the mani from yesterday's live using new dips from Lexi Nail, releasing tonight at 7 p.m. This foil is gorgeous. This blue has these tiny flakies in it, and then this pink has a pink to purple shimmer in it. It's really
She
gorgeous.
went back and forth on her memory on which instances
Are these solid
she
colors,
which
Janet?
transactions.
Yeah, they are. Solid colors with flakies.
No.
So it's the Neon Flake Collection, I think it's called, huh?
Corroborate that she saw CL hand Corey drugs.
Oh, look what was included in my moon dust order. She sent me a scrunchie.
Transaction that occurred after.
A little thing of cuticle oil too.
She didn't make the statement.
Apple honey champagne. Ooh. Some vanilla scented chapstick, lip balm,
Which information are you
That she purchased drugs.
and
Yes, I do know where it came
a moon dust nail dip scrunchie. How cute, right?
CL did not.
Let me put that on my
sell
wrist.
drugs for you.
from. CL could not remember specific dates
Put it there.
and did not make
That would
mention
so
that
match those
the
purple
transaction
Lisa
happened
Frank
after
Crocs
step.
that I'm praying to
When
get for my
presented with
birthday.
digital evidence from other witnesses, she confirmed that that was most likely correct.
So she just agreed with your scenario of events, correct?
No, in fact, several times during our interview, she told us that as we presented her more information, it helped her remember more.
I'm gonna
So
put
as
some
you're
of
telling
these
her to
dips
be more
away.
specific, you're providing her with information.
The ones we're not gonna
your
use,
need,
which are gonna be green,
and she's saying
orange,
no,
and blue today. I'd love to use them all, but not today.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with these three.
However, defense attorney Sky Lazaro argued that the house that CL claimed to have taken the pills to in February.
I thought about doing just like one color since there's gonna be so much color on the
She couldn't give us
accent
address,
nails.
but she was confident.
But
that
then
she
I
could
got
find
so
where she
excited
resided.
when I saw the collection. What are your thoughts, guys?
Yes.
Should I stick to like
follow-up investigation on
maybe two pink nails and one purple nail, or all pink nails,
Yes.
and then do the sunset ombre on the two accent nails?
sometime in January.
Or should I really do one nail each color and then all the
What I
colors
understand, yes.
of the sunset
So,
design on
Mr.
the
Jones no
accent
longer
nails?
owned that
What are your
home.
thoughts, guys?
Occupied that home or had access to that home in February, correct?
All right, let's top coat these. They should be good, right? That's not top
The
coat
house was
though.
owned by
This
somebody
is.
else, right?
Again, I don't know.
Well, you said it closed in January of 2022.
From the information that I was told from other people, other investigators that had looked into that, I was told that Miss Richards owned the house at some point and that it sold at some point. I don't know dates exactly.
Be important if CL's telling you that she had access to the home and was there in February.
Possibly.
That might be a good fact to know.
Why are women in Boston choosing AdEX, the new tummy tuck alternative?
I got the
No, they're ad.
without
At least you can skip them
The defense
nowadays.
brought up interviews with two of Eric's
Remember, we used to have to
best friends,
sit
and the
through
detective said
commercials,
neither of
and
them said that Eric thought Corey was trying to poison him. They talked about
sometimes
how they
YouTube
often
doesn't
fight
even
with
let
each
you
other
skip the
about problems in their
commercial.
marriages,
Makes
and
you
that
watch
Eric
it.
had said that they were in a really great place around the time of his death. Detective Driscoll asked him why, if they were in such a good place, why wouldn't he change the beneficiary of his estate back
is?
from his sister to Corey?
That's not what
And
you
he said that
said.
even though
You
they
said
were
it
in
was the
business
other
right
one.
now, if Corey did ever file for divorce, he wanted to get the last word.
So you didn't like her dips, really?
Asked about a very interesting point of the interview.
I think her
His
stuff's
friends regarding a recent
beautiful.
visit to Mexico for a hunting trip. Eric was very into sport hunting, and apparently when you go on these hunting tourism trips,
Well, I'm a full-time
the guide or
ambassador
an
for her
outfitter
now,
in
and so is
Mexico
Brandis,
secures the permits for the
Nancy,
hunters to be able to kill a certain amount
and
and take
Molly
back a certain amount of
Dips,
animals. Now, I'll be
and
honest,
somebody
I don't
else.
know much about hunting, but I guess you have to have permits for all of the animals that you plan on killing and taking home. Well,
Do the
reported
two
that
pinks,
Eric
one
and the
purple,
outfitter
and the
very, very
ombre?
well, but he
Okay.
didn't apply for enough permits.
Okay.
The hunting group wasn't aware.
Yeah, because
of
it
that
might be
until
too
after the
much,
fact.
huh?
So they ended up killing and taking home many more animals than they had permits for.
All right,
which
so
can
we'll do
apparently
pink
get you in
on
a lot of
thumb,
legal trouble.
pink on
Eric
index,
reportedly had a couple of very
rainbow,
heated conversations with
sunset
his
ombre,
outfitter from
sunset
Mexico.
ombre. So I'm going to
And on the
paint
night that he
these
passed
with
away,
marshmallow
even
gel
searched how long
polish
it
from
took for the
Lexi
bride
Nail.
from their
Okay.
home to where this
And then
outfitter lived in
we'll
Mexico,
use
so
the
that they
neon
could meet
pigments
face-to-face.
to
According
give
to
a
Eric's
sunset
friends, this
color. I'm
outfitter
going to
had
start
ties
with
to
the
the Mexican
yellow. I'm going to
cartel,
go into the
and they
pink,
thought that there could have
which
been
will
some
give us an
correlation
orange
between
in the
that and
middle.
Eric's death.
And then from the
defense
pink,
asked
I'm just going to go
Detective
into the
Driscoll an interesting
purple.
question. The question was
Um,
that if Corey told the investigators that
and
she had
then
made
the
Eric
ring
a drink,
finger will do
why didn't
purple.
anyone try to collect a drink glass for evidence? The detective,
I don't know,
who,
my
like
peel
I
base
mentioned,
isn't
came
dry
on the
yet.
case later, told the defense that he wasn't sure about that. However, the prosecution pointed out that on the body cam
You like my
footage,
earrings
you can
today,
see that there
ladies?
was no glass in the bedroom to collect. So if
The
there
ones
really
in my
was no
second
glass,
hauls are super
that's
cute.
pretty damning evidence for Corey, who maybe didn't actually bring him a drink in the room like she said.
They're hard to see, but they're
Or
really
she tried
cute.
to clean up that room and clean the glass, which would all go against what she said of immediately calling 911.
And she told them that she had made a drink, correct?
Correct.
So I have
So they were
these
aware of that.
Cosmic Nails decals, but I don't think they'll show
Was there
up
anything in
on,
that body cam
well, the
or
palm trees, but I have
investigation,
larger palm tree
that talks about
images
them
on
looking
these
for
stamping
glass
plates,
that
and I
had
should,
been made?
this one I ended up
No.
But you said that
bending
they
it.
searched for illicit drugs, correct?
Let's open
I don't
this.
know if they searched for illicit drugs, but they searched them.
Peel it off.
So they searched the
See
home
what's
that night,
on here
knowing
for
that he had a
images.
drink right before he went to bed. And made no note that they recovered
Feathers,
glasses, looked for glasses,
slice of
anything like that.
watermelon and a palm leaf. There's a toucan with a palm leaf. That's cute. The pineapple. There's some palm trees with some clouds next to it, and then some type of flower that you find in Hawaii.
Because she said that she
That
felt like she
image.
was cold when she laid next to him. This was all spelled out for everyone when Detective O'Driscoll said that the 911 dispatcher told her to use the blanket to move him from the bed.
And
to the
then
floor
there's
so that
these
she could
two
conduct
images
CPR.
with
He
palm
said that
trees.
the EMS noted that since
And then
foam
a few
came
more
up from
images
Eric's
going
mouth when
across
they did
here with palm
CPR,
trees.
it appeared that Corey hadn't
So that's a
cried.
good
However, the
possibility.
defense asked if it was possible that someone who had
On
never
here,
done
I
CPR
pulled this
before
one
could do
out
it wrong. He
because,
said yes.
excuse
So
me,
that makes me wonder because I remember several
I really
articles
like
saying
the
that Corey
footprint
used to work at
stamping.
a hospital.
but that
I'm
won't
not
really
sure
go
what
with the
capacity
sunset
she worked
theme,
at
I
a
guess.
hospital, but it would be interesting to find out if she was ever CPR certified or not. Detective O'Driscoll discussed the altercation
Ooh,
between
here's
Corey
a
and Eric's
sunset
sister
with the
and
sun
what
in the
actually took
background.
place
That might
morning.
work. It's kind of
Apparently,
small,
after Corey
but
had
we'll
her
see.
get together or party of sorts,
If I
the
can
next morning when Katie was going to leave,
get
she
this
saw a
open.
locksmith outside of Eric's detached garage, where he kept his gun safe and had money stored in there. The locksmith was said to be trying to break into the safe because Corey couldn't get into it. Katie explained that their father had the code, so why
Okay.
wouldn't she have just called and asked for it rather than
Okay.
having a
Oh
locksmith
yeah, there's some
damage
cute
the safe
images
and
on
break
this
it?
one that I like.
Corey reportedly started screaming at Katie to get out, and that's when Katie told her about the change of the beneficiary.
So if you take a quick look,
Corey
you
then
can see
proceeded
there's
to
some
punch
palm
Katie in the
tree
face and
images.
needed 4 people to pull her
These
off.
two
The
over
detective
here
said that
are
when
like
searching the
sunset
house,
palm
they
tree
found something
type
called
things.
bug
Those might
bags,
be
which
cute.
were
These two
backpacks
palm
all
trees
labeled
are
with
super
each person of
cute.
the family's name and had survival type supplies in them. Also travel documents like the children's IDs, and Corey and Eric's
There's
bags had
also,
their passports in them and things like that. This made the detective feel like Corey could have possibly been a flight risk or had been planning on leaving with the children. But the defense said that if she were planning on doing those things, why would Eric's bag
Haha,
be
he
in
has
there
two
too?
palm trees with a
Also, she
hammock and
stated that the
people
travel
laying in
documents
it.
and IDs were all expired. So those bug bags were made a long time ago and wouldn't have been made or useful to use recently or flee. She also said that in Utah it's
Okay.
very common for people to do this kind of prep, like
Alright, so we got stuff we
creating
can work with.
stockpiles just to have these bags ready to go.
I think
just
we're
in case
dry and
something
ready to
happens.
go.
Personally, I have
So
a
we're
few
gonna
clients
use
who do have
purple
these bags in their homes as well.
and pink.
Detective O'Driscoll then talked
Let's
about
put the
the first
yellow
time
in
that
it,
Katie
too.
went to see Corey in person, and he asked her if she remembered him because Eric had previously coached his son. The pros-
Okay.
Type 1 diabetes is an invisible threat. That's because it begins long before symptoms appear. But there's a blood test that can detect the disease in its earliest stages, so it's possible to see T1D coming. Learn more at type1tested.com.
And then free
Do
white.
not buy solar panels if you live in one of these 11 states of America.
Yeah.
It's the worst decision you
Oh,
can make for your
okay. A year
Did
ago
you
then
know
when
that in
it
certain
first
states of
started.
America, the U.S. government
Of course,
will now
samples
buy
are
panels for
small.
you and make them
Yeah, I
available
agree.
for no cost in case you go solar in the next couple of weeks. It's not a joke. And in these states,
And I
11
bought
of
all
them, to be
samples except
precise,
for one
Americans
called
will be able to
coral,
get
but
a
that was
complete
only
solar system
available in
from
a
our
mini.
government at
But
absolutely
it's a
no
gorgeous
cost.
shade of
That way,
coral.
go solar.
Skip ad.
The prosecution called an expert.
Alright, so
analyze
these are going to be
Corey's
gel
phone, and
polish.
he
We'll
said
skip
that there was a
those.
lot of missing text message
What did we
and
say?
phone
Pink,
call
pink,
data.
and
He
purple.
said that when reviewing the
Let's
logs
dip the
for the phone
pinky
company,
first. I'm going to
there
dip
was a
right
record
into
of
the
calls
jar.
and texts being made that had been deleted from her phone. He said that there was evidence from
What
the
a
phone
beautiful
data
color.
tracking that a device like an Apple Watch or a phone made significant movements and text messages that were deleted before the 911 call was placed. This would mean that Corey was actually not sleeping like she claimed, and that she did not immediately call 911 when she found Eric dead. She estimated that Corey waited up to 15 minutes to call 911. So, what was she doing during that time frame?
Clean up.
There were also several
Around
Google
the
searches that
cuticle
had raised a lot
area.
of red flags as well. To be honest, some of her searches do sound a little like Letitia Stout. I really don't understand how people don't get at this point. You delete it or not. All of these searches were made after her original phone was taken. So
Okay.
she knew that she was being investigated.
Just
at
press
this
the
point.
flakes down.
So she searched What is
Since
the
this is going to be the only
lethal
purple
dose of
nail,
fentanyl?
we'll brush off
Luxury
and do a
prisons
second
for the
layer.
rich in America. Death certificate says pending. Will life insurance still pay? Can cops force you to do a lie detector test? How to permanently delete information from an iPhone remotely? All pretty damning searches, if you ask me. An innocent person, a grieving widow, doesn't really make those kinds of searches, in my opinion, especially luxury prisons for the rich people in America. Like, if that doesn't scream privilege and delusion, I don't know what does. One of her defense attorneys said that she was just researching her case to see how evidence was processed, which, okay.
We begin with some exclusive details that have now surfaced in the Corey Richins case. She's the Utah author who wrote a children's book on grief and then later was accused of murdering her husband. She's expected to appear in court on Monday. ABC4's Elena Castro.
You gotta be pretty crazy to murder your husband with fentanyl and think you're gonna get away with it, but then write a book on for children on grief.
Searches like women in the top prison, how to turn off Find My iPhone, and can you delete everything off an iCloud account? The searches continue with questions asking how to completely wipe an iPhone remotely, and can the cause of death be changed on a death certificate? Criminal defense attorney Clayton Sims gives us an attorney's perspective on what she may have been doing.
All right, let's dip our pink nails.
She's looking at how evidence is processed, how the FBI processes.
This pink is gorgeous.
Can messages be deleted? Can Facebook be deleted? Maybe she's trying to understand what the time frame is. You know, how long is it going to take for the FBI to investigate this? How long is it going to take for the police to investigate this? So these are, again, Google searches after the death.
According to Corey's history, she read articles that would certainly cause people to question. An article from Vox titled, "Police Can't Read Your Messages, but Here's What They Can See." Another article from Bladen Online with the headline, "Delaying Claim Payment for Death Certificate with Pending Cause of Death." Sims adding that this adds to the picture of her case and where she may have been mentally at the time.
Some of the articles were, can you overdose on fentanyl? Can you overdose on a single pill of fentanyl? These are things that she may want to look at. But if she's accused of that, she may want to see if that's possible.
Maybe I should pour it out, get more flakies. I mean, there's a good amount.
Looking at what she's researching.
I can just shake it too if I need more, like that. Let's do the thumb.
Corey's hearing is this Monday, where they will discuss whether she's a flight risk or a danger to the community.
Even if that's true, I don't really see why she would need to know if you could delete information from an iPhone remotely, or how luxury prisons would help her case and help decipher how evidence is being processed. Make it make sense. Just out of curiosity. But you know, I'm a curious person. So just out of curiosity, I Googled luxury prisons for the rich in America. And well, I'm sorry, but there aren't any, Corey. Based on the prosecution's last witness, who was a financial expert, Corey was far from rich. The expert found that all of Corey's accounts were overdrawn and her credit lines were maxed out, and that in total, she owed about $4 million to hard money lenders who had given her short-term loans for houses that she had planned to flip and sell.
All right, let's dip our second layer. So, you guys, you know it's my favorite day of the week, Friday. I'm sure we won't be doing much because, you know, Nick has COVID, but it sucks because Father's Day is Sunday, you know.
The only problem was she wasn't aware that Eric had switched everything over to his sister. She also revealed that Eric had a total of 6 life insurance policies.
Do you guys do anything Sunday for your hubbies? I know we were talking about gifts, but
Eric's signature for some of these policies.
do you guys go anywhere or cook on the grill?
There's a life insurance policy that Eric and his business partner had on each other, basically, and that's in coordination with a buy-sell agreement on their business. And so if one of them passes away, the other would be the beneficiary of that life insurance.
What was the amount of money that Eric's life was insured for at the time of his death?
About $1.2 million, aside from the business buy-sell policy.
And are you familiar with any attempt to beneficiary of the business policy?
I'm aware that that is
Got some acrylic on my finger.
that on New Year's Day of 2022,
Patty, are you doing your
the New York
nails?
Life's online
What
portal,
about you,
someone
Janet?
had logged in and had changed the beneficiaries on that policy to options.
And that was changed back, as far as you know, had been changed back at the time of Eric's death.
That's my understanding, yes.
Do you know how much money the defendant got in insurance
Nice
payouts?
big flake right
$1.3
there.
million, a little bit more than that, 1.3 million in June of 2022.
Her defense argued that it wouldn't have made any sense for Corey to kill Eric for financial reasons, because even the amount of the life insurance policy wouldn't have been enough to cover her debts, and him being alive and helping her with the money problems would have been more beneficial for her. So the last person to speak was a representative for the Richens family, and that was Eric's sister, Katie. Her statement was absolutely heartbreaking, and she asked that the judge not release Corey on bail because she believes that Eric's sons are in danger, and that Corey would stop at nothing to get the money that she wants, even if it meant committing murder.
His life was taken in a senseless act of poisoning on March. His wife, the defendant, has been accused of committing this crime. If she is found guilty, she has committed the ultimate act of betrayal. Eric is gone, and I am brokenhearted. He was my best friend and protector. The feeling of loss is
Oh,
visceral,
it is green up right here.
and
Right
with the
here.
sorrow comes wave of panic.
That's weird.
Bring my odds here. You need parts, eBay Motors ensures a guaranteed fit. Hey, Dave. Yep.
Alrighty. Prisha.
They're small. Just go to eBay Motors where they're checked. It's a guaranteed fit. That's right.
Feeling healthy.
Alright, so I have a layer of peel base on these nails. I'm wondering if I should dip them in white first or just put the gel on.
For their best life.
We'll see how the coverage is with the gel. So it's Lexi Nails Pearlescent Gel Color. It's P001
I can never
Marshmallow.
talk to him, never hug him again, and never more be a part of his life. Eric's world revolved around his family.
Oh, you gonna take him to breakfast? Oh, you thinking about it, Patty? Doing your nails? Gaming, Tara?
Eric's formative years and resulted in a lifetime of
Oh, what are you gonna do, Janet, for Manny? Actually, let me encapsulate these nails
Eric
first.
learned the joys of keeping horses and cats around. His losses created a Grand Canyon-sized hole in this community. Except instead of taking millions of years to slowly form, our worlds change overnight. His three boys' entire worlds and their perspectives on life changed. None of our lives will ever be the same. Eric died under horrendous circumstances. I am tormented at the thought of what he endured. I play it out in my mind. I go through the terrible sequence of events. I wonder when he realized he was in mortal danger. This may have said to him in his last moments. How long was he conscious, knowing he would die? Where were Eric? Did they hear Eric's body fall to the ground? Did they catch a glimpse of their father taking his last breath? It's torture to think of. Why did Eric lose his life? Why did the boys lose their father? Was it because of Corey's greed and his life insurance and other assets? If so, that is abhorrent. How could anyone value human life so cheaply? I cannot
Brush off
comprehend it.
again.
I'm overflowing with grief and pain at the thought that Eric meant so little to
I
me.
guess I'll go ahead and
If Eric
activate.
had died because of an illness, he would have been cared for. He
This
could
is
have
top
looked after
coat.
him and been with him.
Shit.
If he had died because of an accident, people would have tried to help. There would have been kindness. But there's to be had here. There's no consent. In his last moments, after being intentionally poisoned, he was faced with betrayal
Crap.
and terror. The thought of it is unbearable. I am haunted by the horror of it. It has been a living hell for our family. We have watched as Corey has paraded around portraying herself as a grieving widow and victim, while trying to profit from the death of my brother.
Buffett.
Both by trying to profit from a book about his death and trying to get life insurance and assets that should go exactly where Eric wanted them to his boys. Immediately killed. Corey told us she could not help us get anything ready for the funeral as she was too distraught with grief.
All right, let's see what happens when I activate.
That was not true at all. In fact, she pulled herself to go close on the purchase of a $2 million home, hire a real estate agent, hire an architect to create CAD drawings of the home, hire a lawyer in order to file a lawsuit on Eric's trust, hire a locksmith to come break into and clean out my brother's safe.
There's a long bristle on this. I gotta cut it off. Let me do it now.
She mustered up the strength and resolve
like
to
one
do
extra long one.
48 hours of his death.
There we go.
Corey assaulted me. I will never forget the look in her eyes when she attacked me that Sunday morning. It was early and had been snowing most of the night. I was just getting ready to leave and heading out to the car when I saw a locksmith in Eric's detached garage starting to drill out his gun safe. I asked Corey multiple times
we'll let
why
those
she did not
sit.
just call my dad for the code. I could not understand why she
Oh,
was
they
breaking
seem
into and
fine,
ruining Eric's
Mallory.
safe. To this, she screamed at me at the top of her lungs, called me some inappropriate things I cannot share with you here.
Janet, what cosmic
and then
dips
told
are you
me to
doing?
get out of her house. It was then that I told her that she could not kick me out of my brother's house. My sister Katie was now the executor of Eric's trust and estate, and just like Eric, she would not want the defendant breaking into his gun safe. Corey looked at me.
I'm not sure if this is how good the coverage, how full coverage it will be. I don't want to do a whole bunch of layers of gel. No more than 2 anyway.
And multiple times, it took 4 people to pull her off of that day. Before the funeral, Corey opened a bank account and asked everyone that was grieving to send her money instead of sending family cards and flowers. 2 weeks after Eric's passing, that we were told she had taken down my brother and removed all his clothing from the house. Corey put together a golf tournament in Eric's name 2 months after his death on what would have been his 40th birthday and told his family, all of us, that we were not allowed to attend.
Americans on both Medicare and Medicaid, listen up. This is an announcement about Medicare Advantage Plan benefits. If you're an eligible American and live in a qualifying zip code,
Since Eric's death, it has come to our attention that Corey took out multiple life insurance policies on Eric without
I
his
think
knowledge.
it'll be alright.
It appears that she forged his signature on various documents, assigned herself as Eric's durable power of attorney, inappropriately diverted money from his business to herself, and assigned herself as beneficiary of Eric's portion of our mother's retirement account.
So that looks
I
like
should also
almost
not
clear.
forget to mention the multiple life insurances she has taken out on the boys. Her most recent business venture was authoring a children's book about how to help grieving children cope with the death of a parent. In this book, she had the audacity to use the boys' real names and even use their last family portrait. Her behavior gives me great concern. She has exploited the boys for money and would likely do so again.
CVS.
In addition, Corey has weaponized Eric's
Call you
children,
back, CVS.
manipulating my dad to do or not do things by threatening to come in to cut him out of their lives if he did not
Oh,
capitulate to her
okay.
demands.
From the Pride and
She
Prejudice.
similarly deprived the boys of contact with
Oh,
herself,
there's an 80s
my sister,
collab?
and her daughters, unless we agreed to give her the money in Eric's trust. Money that Eric wanted to go to his 3 children. As if that were not enough, I've been told that Corey started telling their 3 little boys that none of Eric's family or friends loved them.
Stir this up a little bit more through my closets.
Even though that is the exact
Heard you're
opposite.
supposed to not shake it up and down like this. You're
We
supposed
all
to shake
want
it side to
more than to be
side.
there for those 3 little
Like
boys,
spin it.
my nephews. Yet Corey has made sure to cut us out of every aspect of their lives. This is all just a brief summary and the start
Alright,
of
let's
what our
do
family has
layer
gone through
number
over the
2.
last year. We have scarcely gone a day without finding out some new allegations or evidence regarding something Corey appears to have maliciously done to attack and undermine my brother, his 3 little boys, and our family. We have all been there since the beginning of Corey's and Eric's relationship. I was there on one of their first dates.
We were there at the wedding. We were there when each of the boys were born. We understand that she has defaulted on loans and is already a defendant in other lawsuits based on her financial misdeeds. I am truly concerned that she would stop at nothing to dig her way out of the problems, including murder. She seems devoid of moral sensibility, and there is no telling what she will do if she is released. Judge Mrazek, her fate lies in your hands. Please do not allow Corey to use the fraudulent life insurance proceeds to get out on bail. That would be morally reprehensible. Please do not allow Corey to take advantage and make a mockery of our justice and legal system anymore. She has done enough. Please do not allow Corey to hurt Eric's memory, our family, friends, and community anymore. We have been through enough. Please do not give Corey the opportunity to hurt Eric's 3 boys anymore. They have lost enough and have been through enough.
All right, it's like not fully covered, but because we're going to be going over it with neon pigments, I think it won't matter.
But on bail, I will be afraid not only for my own life.
All right, so I'm going to do a 60-second cure here.
For the lives of Eric's 3 sons. Has already suffered enough.
Janet, you do all the
collabs. Corey out on bail, or she will be a risk to do further harm. Please protect what Eric put his life on the line for. His 3 boys.
Ooh, I got one of these little lights off of Temu for $1.70 or $1.07. I put the batteries in it. But I mean, you still need a third hand, you know what I mean? But it would be good, like, to take if I'm going to do Fran's nails or something.
And Corey's team stated
because it doesn't have to be plugged in.
Was not a credible source of information, and it seems like her whole account was led by information from Detective O'Driscoll, all just to get out of jail. She had
Strawberry
been released
lemonade
even
is
with all
so
of those potential charges and even a federal charge.
There's no independent witness to corroborate that.
All right, let's do the nail art, and then we'll come back and file and buff our other nails, since that's how I did it.
No eyewitnesses that we have identified, but
I think I'm going to use brushes again today. I kind of liked how they worked.
Out of custody, right?
So we want purple.
Custody, but she's not incarcerated. No.
Not incarcerated.
We want pink.
I think Eco Monitor and
multiple pinks here.
But following your interviews with her, she was released from jail.
Not immediately, no. She worked with the
choose that
prosecutor.
one. Looks brighter. And then
the other county
yellow.
where her drug court is, and came to a resolution as to those charges against her. And part of that was being released on Eco Monitor.
I'll take out an orange
for the
too, just
in exchange for the information that she
one
provided
that's
to
open
you.
now. This one.
A deal was worked out where she was essentially released from jail on the
Have all those little brushes I used
I
yesterday.
don't know the
So let's see
specifics of
those
what went
now.
on between the prosecutor and CL. But subsequent
Here's
to
4
our
brushes,
interviews, we reached
4
out to the prosecutor's
colors.
office and let them
Open
know that
them
she
up.
was being cooperative. After that, I was not involved.
So I'm
in
thinking
any
yellow
disciplinary
at the
release.
top, right?
Because that's up to the judge.
And then I was planning to go into pink and then into purple.
Yes.
She gave you the information.
And using the yellow and the
But she
pink
was
to
being
ombre and
cooperative.
orange.
McGovern Ford of Framingham on Route 9 is your service and body shop headquarters. Whether you need a simple oil change or a complete engine overhaul, our Ford certified technicians have you covered. Did you know McGovern Ford of Framingham has a certified body shop? Whether it's a Ford or a BMW, we have you covered, and we'll get you turned around and back on the road swiftly. Visit us today at 1200 Worcester Road on Route 9 in Framingham or online at McGovernFordFramingham.com.
And brush it off. I'm going to do both nails at the same time here.
You connect when they realized they were meant for each other.
There's just this kid in my head. I think he just missed him.
Did he miss you?
Gonna go maybe a third of the way down, right? Does that make sense?
This is what I'm supposed to be.
The defense was insinuating that it's obvious that they did work out a deal with her. He said that there was no proof of Corey ever specifically requesting fentanyl or proof of CL giving any to her.
She loved her kids, she loved her husband, but she also
All right,
charged Neil with his murder. And so I just don't necessarily want that to get lost.
I need to come further down on the yellow here.
Situation. With regard to the evidence, I'm going to skip through most of it. I think the most important thing, if she poisoned them, is did she ever get it?
Okay. Let's go into the pink. Anybody saying anything?
Has been able to draw that nexus. I don't disagree that CL was buying drugs. I think that's clear. She has a history of being a drug distributor. She was jammed with first-degree felonies. She had.
So I'm planning to take this pink and go up higher on the yellow to make an orange. You know what I mean?
Drug distribution. New charge. Pursuant to essentially the detective's testimony, is they walked her down the line of, I need more evidence. This is what we need to know, and provided evidence to her essentially until she got it right, and then she was released. When we look at the cell phone mapping, yes, I went and picked up a check. We know that she was cleaning houses. We know she cashed a check. We know she picked up drugs. But they can't put her anywhere in the same vicinity of Corey's phone.
It's getting there.
Because apparently the mapping's not available from Verizon, which somewhat surprises me, given it's Verizon.
Let's do the pink again to make an orange.
Correct. But they have things about her buying and selling fentanyl. They have zero corroborating evidence for anything but giving it to Corey. She didn't tell anybody that she was buying it for Corey. She never had anybody with her when she dropped it off. There's nothing to make the most important correlation in this, and that's that it was ever provided to Corey that there was no fentanyl or traces of fentanyl found in the home anywhere. And I think that's significant. I think if she bought me 30 pills on at least 2 separate occasions, that's a lot of fentanyl. I mean, if one's lethal, right, we're talking about a lot of fentanyl.
I'm not even
and
using
nothing
that.
is found, no traces anywhere, absolutely nothing. So I think the state's making a big leap in their evidence by saying, look, we have this girl, we know she's a drug dealer, we know she's buying fentanyl, but there's nothing to corroborate anything she says that ties it to Corey. The glass.
All right, so now we'll go into the purple.
Right, the glass is there. No one thinks to bother to.
Where's the evidence that the glass is present?
Well, I didn't look for a glass, I guess is what I should say.
Okay.
So no glass was tested. So there's nothing to show that Corey did anything to Eric. Detective O'Driscoll's testimony, it could have been accidental. I mean, it very well could have. And I think that, given the
definitely gonna have to add some more
today,
pink.
Possible situation with money does not make you a murderer. Being bad at managing your accounts, I mean, makes you bad at math, but it doesn't make you a murderer. The other thing I think is significant is by the testimony that came out today, the hard money loans that she owed, at least, far exceeded life insurance. And so, even getting the life insurance money was not going to solve those problems, not even close to solving her problems. And so, that evidence alone.
That looks good. The middle now. Let's fix
issues,
the ring finger with some more
Corey's
pink.
business. There's nothing to tie it to her having any motive or
just blending it, that's all.
Being in a better position from Eric's death. In fact, she's in a worse position because of his death, because Eric had a business, he was continually making money. He was, from what it sounds like, the majority of the contributions into the joint account. So his death, from a financial perspective, has harmed her far more than any money that she gained from any life insurance. I'll largely submit on the remainder of our briefing, as I trust the board to.
Yeah, carefully.
Thank you.
Here's some stuff.
Thank you, Your Honor. The prosecution's rebuttal was that they did have a significant amount of evidence that she got fentanyl from CL, and that the only reason they didn't see her specifically asking for it was because Corey deleted her messages. And they said that she staged the scene where Eric was found, which is why there was no glass found from the Moscow mule. They said that she thought that by killing Eric, she would have gotten a lot more money, but the only reason she didn't is because of the changes that Eric made to his policies without her knowledge.
And I think one of the things that we have that is said is, she was primed and told what to say. But what really happened is a year later she's asked to consider what, if she remembered anything else, and she came back with, yeah, I remember more, and that's very typical of witnesses. It's typical of people who have testified. And then you heard all.
I need more pink now again.
Matching with the cell phone, with the mapping.
Just a little more pink.
Her putting the drug in Corey's hands. We do. We have a hand-to-hand that was testified to. So we have the evidence that Corey got the drugs. We also have the evidence that corroborates most of CL's story. We would have more if there weren't texts that were deleted. We have a great deal of information that was deleted, and that was deleted off of the defendant's phone. So I think that is sufficient evidence just for CL, and that makes CL credible.
All right.
The idea that no glass was tested. Well, if you look at the pictures that we have submitted, there's nothing there. It's a stage scene. How they can argue that Eric somehow?
I know that's like a mess right now, but what do you think so far, you guys?
There's nothing. It's that this was.
Oh, your mom's coming over. That's cool.
And also to say it's accidental. 1 or 2 kills might be accidental. 20 or 5 times the lethal dose is not accidental, Your Honor. That is someone who wants Eric dead. And the person who benefited the most from Eric being dead is the defendant, or the person who thought she was going to benefit the most from Eric being is the defendant. She thought she was going to be entitled to Eric's estate. She didn't know that there was this trust that had put the money into Katie Richards.
Clean myself off here.
Thought on the day that Eric died that she was the one that was going to benefit. She benefited from the insurance policies. She thought she was going to benefit from more, and she thought she was going to benefit from Eric's estate. She tried to benefit from the other life insurance policy on Eric's business. That didn't happen. She also was in dire financial straits, Your Honor, writing checks on closed accounts or checks with no money in them. I know you cut me off.
It was in your brief.
I understand. But that's significant because she was in dire financial straits. She was
I need to use something to clean up, like a small brush or something.
She benefited financially, and she had many cases, and we talk about this all the time. Prosecutors say we don't need motive. This case has motive. This case has motive that she needed to get out of this debt, and that's the reason she killed Eric, in hopes of getting his estate, in hopes of getting his life insurance policies, and that, Your Honor, we believe is substantial evidence.
Mark.
And here's what the judge had to say about it.
Well, at the time of Eric's death, the defendant's subjective understanding was that she would get a greater marital estate if Eric died during the marriage, as opposed to what she would receive.
I accidentally took some stuff off.
The parties divorced.
I'm trying to put it back on.
Moreover, evidence admitted in the case shows that in the months leading to Eric's death, Defendant's personal and business accounts were overdrawn. She was making significant recurring debt payments, many of which were to hard money lenders, and that her lines of credit or lines of credit available to her were maxed out. And at the time of his death, Eric's life was insured for approximately $1.2 million.
There's got to be a better way.
Not including the policy related to the buy-sell agreement.
Let me top coat and then go in and clean it, I guess.
Moreover, we have evidence from which a jury could reasonably infer consciousness of guilt. We have evidence regarding search that was extracted from defendant's second phone after her first phone was seized. And we have inconsistencies made by defendant as compared to other evidence in the case regarding whether she called 911 immediately, whether she performed CPR, whether she did something else for the 15 minutes between discovering Eric dead and calling 911.
I'll take this pink one real quick.
In considering this evidence, a jury could reasonably choose to discount and find unpersuasive defendant's efforts to poke holes in the state's case. And in so doing, a reasonable jury could reach a verdict of guilty beyond a reasonable doubt on the charge of aggravated murder based on the state's evidence. For these reasons, is there substantial evidence to support the capital felony charge of aggravated murder against the defendant in this case? Having made that determination, the court considers whether it has discretion to grant defendant bail, notwithstanding that she has no right to bail under Article 1, Section 8 of the Utah Constitution. Desperate acts that might include harming themselves.
I took some off up near the top of my nail too, I can say.
Family, or harming witnesses in the case. Because an incentive this powerful cannot be adequately managed in the community, it weighs heavily against granting any form of pretrial release. Second, the state has offered substantial evidence that defendant procured fentanyl on more than one occasion. And on at least one occasion,
I think I gotta put something on there to get it to stick. It's not sticking.
As a general matter, an individual who is capable of this kind of decision making is not a good candidate for supervision in the community. More specifically, given the uniquely dangerous nature of fentanyl, which has been demonstrated tragically by events in Summit County, defendant's alleged conduct, as supported by substantial evidence, is especially dangerous. Indeed, these circumstances constitute clear and convincing evidence that defendant would pose a substantial danger to the community if released on bail, a substantial danger that cannot be adequately managed by any combination of conditions of pretrial release that are available in Summit County. For these reasons, the court finds the circumstances of this case, as supported by substantial evidence, weigh soundly against any form of pretrial release.
Let's see if this works.
The state's motion for pension is
yes, I'm watching 10 to Life. Do you like Annie Elise Claremore?
but during the time she awaits trial or other resolution of the criminal charges against her. Ms. Richards, you
Hello,
have the right
Glorimer.
to
Happy
expedite
Friday.
appeal of the- You must file a notice of appeal within
I'm
30
doing a
days
sunset
of the
now.
court's ruling, and you have the right
Using
to
Revel
represent
Nails
counsel
and Neon Flake
So Corey
Collection.
Richards is now being held
They're
without
new.
bail until her trial. And in this case, it really seems like things are going to go
Alright, so I made a
relatively
little
quickly.
boo-boo
The judge said that
removing.
since Corey's being held until trial, he wants it to go as soon as possible, and some analysts think that it could be as soon as 6 to 8 months. I think the fact that
Alright, I
she's
think
three
this is gonna
boys
work.
who she
Where's
took
my
life
pink
insurance
brush?
policies
Right
out on has a lot to do with his decision, especially since his family truly believes they aren't safe if their mother was willing to do what they are alleging that she did. This hearing kind of gave us
Okay,
a
let's go
sample
back
of
to
what's
that
going to
yellow
happen in
and
court and what
blend.
each side's stance will be. However, even after the hearing, more information is coming out. They could once again change the direction of this case and where it's going entirely. There was an email released on the Corey Richards case discussion Facebook group. And I wanted to get some further confirmation that they were real before talking too much about them, because you really never know what's real, what's fake on Facebook. But several media outlets have now published the email as well, which gives them a little bit more legitimacy in my opinion, but just keep in mind that everything is still alleged at this point, whether mass media outlets have distributed it or
Make
not.
it a little more
The
ombre,
emails
right? A
are fully
little
alleged
blended.
that Eric had an affair and that they were undergoing marriage counseling.
Looks
She also
good.
stated that Eric didn't want her working and wanted to be the primary breadwinner and have her stay at home. The email states, "Hey there, I thought I would clarify some other items on your list that you spoke to blank about. The beginning of February last year, my kids had a soccer tournament in Mesquite. The day before we left, which was February 2nd, 2022, I tested positive for COVID. I have attached the picture of my test from on my counter in my kitchen from when I first found out. I sent it to my mom and blank to let them know because I was just around both of them. Eric was the coach of the soccer team, and I'm the annoying mom on the sideline that never stops yelling. We don't miss games or tournaments. We're a huge soccer family. When we found out I had COVID, I didn't want to miss the soccer tournament, nor did I want to get my kids sick. So I stayed in Casablanca. I didn't want to risk it getting my boys ill during the tournament and them not play well. I brought a box of at-home tests with me to test every day so I could either join the boys, staying
I
at
have a
my
little
father-in-law's,
spot
or
down
at
here
least
that's
with me
missing
during
some
the game.
purple that you know I
Casablanca
gotta
is about
fix
5
that
minutes
too.
from the soccer field. Actually, here's a
I'm
picture
making
of the
quite
room
the
and
mess
that I
with these,
stayed
you
in.
guys.
I had taken a picture for my mom and Eric. I was still
Alright,
positive
once
every
more
day.
with the purple,
She's attacked.
just to fix
I would
my
take pictures
free
of my test
edge.
to Eric and say, still positive. You can check Eric's phone for this. I stood on the sidelines wearing a mask and not interacting with anyone. Happy to get other soccer parents to attest to this. Eric had gotten COVID after we got home from Mesquite. You asked about any exotic vacations I've taken since Eric's passing.
Okay.
I went on two
the
trips
purple.
last year. One, my kids tried out at a soccer camp in South Carolina to qualify to play in Spain in June, and both my kids made it. So yes, I took them to Spain in October of 2022. I have attached their invitation letters. Also, Eric and I went to Mexico every year, sometimes twice. We traveled a lot. We have taken the boys to Mexico a few times, and
Okay.
we like to go in January.
That's
However,
good.
January of 2022, we did not go because Eric
Okay,
had
Janet,
a
bye.
Mexico trip of 2 weeks planned, and it was too much that month.
The suspense is
This
killing
not
you.
for us
We're
to go to
almost
Mexico
done.
Or for us to go out of the country or on a vacation with our kids. I took my
I just
kids
wanted to
and
get
my mom came
as
with
much
us
of
in
this
August
off of me.
2022
We'll
to
top
Mexico.
coat and then
As I
I'm
hope
not
you
going to touch
understand,
the
months
nails
prior to
before
this,
them
since
because I don't
Eric's
want to
death had
remove
been
any
hard to deal
pigment.
with. No, I have never been to Key West or the Keys in Florida. However, my nanny went with her family in June of 2022.
I'm going to use
maybe
gel
something
top
mixed
coat.
up. Eric's affair was the same year that
This is the
quote,
Cosmic
moved out.
Nails
Trust was
2-in-1
created, as well as
base
everything
and
into
top
the
coat
voice. I
in
never actually
one.
moved out. I moved
This
my
stuff
clothes
is
out one weekend to make Eric
amazing.
understand I'm not kidding about leaving him if
And
he doesn't
code
end
Tara
things
10 will
with
save you if you
I
do
did
want to
this
buy
on
it. But
Thursday or Friday while he was
one
out
of the best
town.
top coats
I
you
was
can
home
get.
by Monday. I never stayed another night at that other house. Eric and I figured things out like most couples do. Blank was her name. He changed her name in his phone so I wouldn't know about it, and honestly, we worked things out after that. I never went through his phone again to see if he changed it back, but you have his phone and can check. Eric and I went to counseling in Commerce. We only went about 4 times maybe. It wasn't for us. Blank and Blank are the same person, as I'm assuming you know that. Haha, I'm also assuming Blank told Woody that her husband got a call from him and gave all this information, LOL. Yet he didn't ever go to talk to Detective O'Driscoll. Ironic how these things work. Mental health, yes. I got postpartum
These
after
still
my
need to
second
be
child in
filed
2014.
too.
Yes, I took medication for it. No, Eric and I did not have financial problems ever.
I hope I'm going to be
Yes,
able to
Eric
file
made more
them.
money than me. Do you
Alright,
make
let me
more money
hear
than
'em.
your wives? Have I
Am I
ever
going to be
been
able to file
financially
these, you
reliant
guys?
on Eric in the last 5 years?
So it's a gel
Absolutely
top
not.
coat. I can file it
Eric
and
did not
then
want me working because,
base and
one,
top
his
coat
first
again.
wife cheated on him with a guy at work. Eric
I don't
wanted
know
us to
because
live
I've
the
never
typical
really done the
conservative
gel
life where The
method.
man takes care of his family and the wife is a homemaker. A wife and a mom, that's it. That is not my personality and not the way that I was raised. I am very independent. Even when I stayed home with
Janet's
my
mom
kids
got
for
to her
years,
house
I was
quick.
in
Oh my
grad
God,
school for
Glormar, I
years
found the
because I wanted
button.
to do more,
It's right here.
more than be a homemaker, and I did.
Ha!
And when I did,
Here it is,
start the
Glormar.
business, it took some adjusting. But
As
Eric
soon as
and I
my
were
nails
fine
are dry, I'll
we hired my nanny,
try and screw it on.
moved out. My nanny moved out because she was engaged.
Look
and
at
she
that.
and we're moving in together. That was always supposed to be temporary. She's worked full time for Eric and I for years prior to his death. If anyone can tell you about our marriage, it's her. She lived it with us. Feel free to call her. Blank has already submitted her phone records to you to prove that your toll is incorrect. Blank will also be submitting hers over to you guys today or tomorrow.
Let's see if I can screw it
However,
back
Eric's
on.
business partner is not being cooperative, but you can call and ask for them and he would probably give them to you. I know what time I went to bed that night. There is no hole in my story. Hopefully by
There we
obtaining
go.
phone record documentations, you guys can see this too. Happy to clarify or provide anything else you may need. I just want this over. I just want to move on and breathe and mourn my husband without looking over my shoulder constantly.
It's
for you
fixed.
guys, or the idiotic
Thank you so much,
investigator,
Glormar.
or the righteous family. Whatever I can do to help close this out, just ask and I'll give you or tell you whatever you want to know. Please check with the lab.
All right, I'll file it first.
Yes, Chad.
And then I'll do the stamping on it after. So let's go through and file all the nails.
When Eric passed, Blank took over coaching. You guys can even chat with them if you feel necessary. Signed, Corey Richens. So if all of that is true,
I'm
that
hungry.
could give some insight into a lot of things regarding their marriage. First of all, if he was actually having an affair, that may have given her another motive besides money to poison him. I don't know though that would exactly help the case. The fact that there wasn't any fentanyl found in their home kind of indicates that she put it in this drink secretly rather than him taking it and accidentally overdosing. You'd think if it were an accident, that there would be the remnants of a baggie somewhere or some of it left over. But the fact that he had 5 times the lethal dose consumed makes me think that the entire baggie was dumped into a drink and that's why there was no evidence of it left behind and why the dose was so high because it was all ingested. But also
So Glorma, I don't know if you heard me, but we're using Revel's new Neon Flaky Collection. Oh my God, they're gorgeous dips. All bright colors with flakes in them.
Change things around and prepare for a divorce. Even his friend said that he changed things only to get the last word in, which seems pretty vindictive for 2 people who love each other. Regardless, I found it very interesting that just the detention hearing went that in depth. You don't usually see that. I'm sure more will come out about the inner workings of their marriage and any potential affairs that could have played into this. Maybe Eric's sisters didn't know everything that was going on between them. Maybe he didn't want to tell them that he was having an affair, and he thought that Corey might kill him if she found out. I think there are so many directions that this case could go, and both sides seem to have pretty decent arguments. But I'm sure the prosecution has a lot more evidence and proof up their sleeves than what they released in this first small hearing, because they're not required to release it all. A date for the preliminary hearing has not yet been set, but they are supposed to meet in court to set that date next week.
All right, let's file these nails that are encapsulated with gel.
Everything going on with this
It's the first for me.
hopefully we can start to get to the bottom of what actually happened to Eric and who's responsible. After hearing all of this information that came out this week and during the hearing, who do you believe? Do you think Corey is responsible? If so, what do you think her motive was? Or do you think that this could have been done by somebody else? Let me know in the comments below. Alright guys, thanks so much for tuning in with me today. Please don't forget, give this video a quick thumbs up on your way out.
This is the ending. We'll see what comes on next, as long as it's not 48 hours.
The newest videos and updates on this case pop up in your YouTube homepage.
Or let me just pick
it's a free way to
something.
support the channel as well. So just hit that little red subscribe button. Alright, and until the next case, stay safe. Bye.
Aaron Boone, The Cost of Greed. This is Monsters. You guys ever watch This Is Monsters? He's good.
I got the tummy tuck result without the tummy tuck downtime.
I just want to take a minute to let you know, if you like This Is Monsters, you might like my other show, Somewhere Sinister. Each season, we go to a different place and tell sinister stories from that area. You can check it out by going to this link here. Thanks so much, and on to the story. On the morning of September 25th, 1989, Ellen Bowen made a series of calls. She had used the payphone at a nearby gas station to do so. Her home phone had been shut off for a while now due to lack of payment. It was around 8:15 a.m. when she made the first call. After reaching her supervisor at work, Elaine Herman, Ellen informed her that she wouldn't be coming in that day. Her 4-year-old, Stephen, had stopped breathing, and they were on their way to the hospital that very second. It was a familiar nightmare for the single mother. She'd just lost her youngest son 10 months earlier after he suddenly stopped breathing and turned blue. In the absence of any other explanation for the death of such a lively 2-year-old, the doctors decided that SIDS was the most likely culprit. Now it appeared as though Stephen was afflicted with the same ailment that claimed his brother. That was Ellen's story anyway. Understandably horrified by the news, Elaine offered her sympathies and asked Ellen to keep her posted on Stephen's condition. 3 hours later, Ellen was on the phone again. The hospital couldn't find anything wrong with their son, she said, so they discharged him and sent him home, only for him to stop breathing again in the car. She was now rushing him back to the emergency room.
They're a little more difficult to file at the sidewalls, but that's probably because I have some gel that
she had no way of knowing that Stephen was in fact alive and well, waiting patiently in the car while Ellen was on the phone. Unbeknownst to Elaine, Stephen hadn't even stepped foot in a hospital that day, but all that was going to change in just a few short hours. This is Monsters.
Alright. Getting there. I'll probably still be live when Dominic gets home at
Ellen K.
2.
Booker was born to Catherine and John in 1960.
Time is at
Before
1:54. Oh yeah, he
John
should be
had
home
7
shortly.
children with his first wife.
Why
He was a
want his
heavy
computer?
drinker with a notoriously
He's all
watery
done
eye.
with like homework.
He
He called me
ultimately
this morning
abandoned
and
the
said there was
family,
hardly
moved out
anybody
of
at
state,
school
and married
today.
Catherine within a year.
And then of course they gotta
Ellen
go.
came soon afterward,
Oh, they're
and
off
she and the
Monday and then
couples
they gotta
had
go
a child
Tuesday and
together.
Wednesday.
In
I told them maybe we
1977,
let them
John
take the
Booker learned
last
that
day
his
off.
first wife
They get their
died of a heart
report
attack.
cards today,
The news
so.
came as a shock, and he was deeply bereaved. Although Ellen and Catherine weren't sure what to make of his grief, they tried to be as supportive as possible. When he told them that he wanted to travel back to his home state of Mississippi to attend her funeral, they agreed that it was important for him to be there for his other children. A few months later, John had a change of heart. He left Ellen and Catherine behind in Missouri to reconcile with what was left of his original family. His daughter was a junior in high school at the time. John, now 64 years old and in extremely poor health, wouldn't stay in Mississippi for long. After about a year, he returned to St. Louis, where he would be placed in a nursing home. He remained there until his death several months later in June of 1979. Meanwhile, young Ellen found herself falling for a much older man. The fact that he was already married, it didn't matter much to her. To Ellen, Paul Bowen was the man of her dreams, but eventually she would come to realize how much her future husband resembled her father, and not just in age. They met during Ellen's senior year. Paul was a Vietnam veteran and worked as a bus driver. His
Is this the
relationship with his
author
current wife
case
was
you
on the
have
rocks,
on?
and it
I
didn't take long
did.
for him to decide that he much preferred the affections of the young
I did
blonde
have
girl
it
he loved
on
as
the
bus
one,
driver.
the Corey
Paul
Richens
was
case,
very
but now I put on this show. It's called This Is
As a
Monsters.
newly fledged adult, she wasn't quite ready to settle down.
I don't know what
But
this
on
woman
June
did,
7th,
but she's being
1988,
described
3
as a
days before she
monster
turned
for
20,
doing
a happy
something
couple
horrible.
finally tied the knot. Unfortunately, that happiness was destined to wane. Ellen found the perfect little starter home, the upper floor apartment of a roomy house in St. Louis. The owner of the home, an elderly woman, lived in the other apartment downstairs.
So once we get these
After a
shaved
year,
and
their landlord
buffed,
fell ill and decided to
we'll
sell
do
the
some
property.
stamping
She asked the Bohms if they would be willing
on
to purchase the home, and they jumped at the opportunity. Once the former owner left,
the
they
ombre
wasted no
nails,
time in
some
moving all
palm
of their
tree
things
stamping.
downstairs to the lower level with the intent of renting out the upper floor, just as their landlord had.
At least
Early
that's
in
what
the
I'm
morning,
thinking,
Paul
is palm
accompanied
tree
Ellen to
stamping.
indulge in her favorite pastime, professional wrestling. She was a huge fan and attended every match she possibly could. And when she wasn't cheering on her favorite wrestlers in person, she was glued to the television or raving about the most recent show. Even though Paul didn't find wrestling to be nearly as thrilling as his new wife did, he supposed it was as good a reason as any to get out of the house and enjoy some time with her. And for a while, that was enough. They bought season tickets to the local matches and managed to score some pretty good seats, much to the new bride's delight. After a couple of years, though, Paul wanted to come along less and less. He found the whole spectacle kind of ridiculous, and he didn't really seem to understand what Ellen found so interesting about a bunch of greasy, barely clad muscleheads rolling around and grappling with each other in front of thousands of people. Luckily, Ellen would soon find the perfect person to share her passion with. Like the Boas, Deanne Smith and her new husband had purchased season tickets, and their seats were located directly in front of Ellen and Paul. Deanne and Ellen were the definition of kindred spirits. They were both wrestling superfans who cheered their favorites on while their disinterested husbands looked on in amusement. But they had a lot of other things in common as well. For instance, they had similar battles with their weight, and they both worked the same kind of secretarial jobs. Both had recently married, and both would eventually get divorced from their husbands. Given how alike they were, the fact that they quickly became the best of friends should come as no surprise. In no time at all, they went from casual conversations at wrestling events to talking on the phone almost every night after work. But as their friendship grew closer and closer, their relationship with their spouses became more and more distant. Coming to the shows had started as a couple's date night, but once Deanne divorced her husband and Paul stopped tagging along, it ended up becoming girls' night instead. And coming to the matches wasn't the only thing Paul Bowen stopped doing around this time. He also stopped coming straight home after work, which was less than ideal, considering the fact that Ellen had her hands full caring for their daughter, who would have been a toddler at the time. It was slowly becoming clear that he much preferred the atmosphere and company of the local bars over his family. Despite all the trouble in paradise, the Bowens welcomed their second child, a boy, on September 22, 1985. Then, almost immediately afterward, Ellen fell pregnant with baby number 3. After the birth of their final child, another boy, Paul and Ellen decided that it made sense for her to leave her job as a secretary in favor of becoming a stay-at-home mom. Their marriage continued to decline. Ellen suspected that her husband was being unfaithful and sought comfort in the over-the-top theatrics of the wrestling world and in her new friend. Ellen and Deanne had some wonderful times together. On Memorial Day weekend in 1986, they pooled their money together for a long road trip and followed the wrestlers on their tour through nearby states. They stopped to watch every performance along the way from St. Louis to Little Rock. Ellen didn't let hundreds of miles, long hours of driving, or the fact that she was 7 months pregnant get in the way. She was a real fan after all. She was more than willing to do whatever it took to get her fill of all the action. Deanne was just as big a fan, but with one key exception. She knew the difference between fantasy and reality. Helen, however, not so much. They would travel with the wrestlers as far as their budgets and schedules would allow, which was frequent enough for some of the referees, managers, and performers to begin recognizing them. Ellen's favorite wrestler was Ted DiBiase, also known as the $1 Million Man. She'd been following his career for the better part of 6 years, and wrote letter after letter to him proclaiming her undying love, and her endless desire for him. She often sent her letters to the arena he was scheduled to be at next, hoping he might read them before the show and know that she would be there watching. Maybe it would give him a little boost before the match and make his day. According to Deanne, Ellen often gave her copies of these letters to read. Most of the time, though, Deanne would simply shove these letters in a drawer somewhere and forget about them. The love notes could sometimes be somewhat suggestive in nature, and even though the women shared a lot with each other, Deanne didn't really have much desire to read her best friend's spank bank material. At some point, Deanne started realizing that Ellen's fan letters were a tad obsessive. Unlike Deanne, who saw the wrestling events as entertainment similar to, say, a concert, Ellen was completely drawn in. For her, wrestling wasn't just entertainment, it was life itself. Not that Deanne minded too
So
much.
this chick was
As far as
super
she was
into
concerned,
wrestling.
This was the only fun Ellen
Watching
really got to
wrestling.
have, and she didn't want to
Going
ruin
to
that
the
for
matches.
So what if she got a little overzealous sometimes? So what if she wrote a bunch of flirty letters to a bunch of dudes that probably wouldn't even open them? So what if she crushed on her favorite wrestlers like a lovesick schoolgirl? It wasn't like it was hurting anybody, and besides, a girl can dream, right? Generally, writing such a letter to another man as a married woman with 2 small children and another one on the way seems pretty shady. But Paul wasn't exactly innocent himself. In August of 1984, he met yet another young girl on his bus route. Her name was Terry, and she would eventually become his. He broke things off with Ellen, of course. A week after her memorial marathon, Paul informed his heavily pregnant wife that he would move to Texas for a while. It wasn't his choice, he said, but a necessity. He had been exposed to Agent Orange while in Vietnam and had suffered from intermittent rashes ever since. He feared that the rash was perhaps a sign of something more serious, and if he had any hope of improving his condition, the only option was to spend a couple of weeks at the local veterans hospital until he could be transferred to the one in Texas. The entire treatment was expected to take at least a few months, meaning he would have to quit his job and temporarily relocate. It was June 6, 1986, and instead of celebrating her 6th anniversary with her husband, she was left to wonder how she could possibly care for their children in his absence. She didn't doubt his story, though. Not at first, anyway. Deanne was considerably
I'll pull up the
less
live
convinced.
on Dominic's
Having
phone
seen her
so I can
former
see if
husband
there's
through a
any
triple
comments.
bypass, she found it strange that Helen hadn't met with Paul's doctors or even spoken to them over the phone. She found it hard to believe that the doctors wouldn't include a man's spouse in conversations about his care, especially if he required months of treatment from an out-of-state hospital. At her best friend's suggestion, Ellen waited about a week and then drove down to the St. Louis branch of the Veterans Hospital, where Paul claimed he would be undergoing treatment for several weeks before making his way to Texas. She looked all over but couldn't find his car, and that could only mean one thing. He wasn't there. Shortly afterward, Ellen received further confirmation that she had been lied to and abandoned when a man she once worked with called to inform her that Paul was having an affair with his wife. Apparently, this relationship was somewhat short-lived.
He's on the live, Dominic.
Ellen's 3rd and final child was born on July 25th, 1986. Paul came to the hospital to meet his newborn son, but he didn't stick around long. In about 2 weeks, he and his new future bride would be heading for a new life in Kansas. Even though he didn't know it yet, this was both the first and the last time that Paul would ever see his youngest son. By Thanksgiving Day of 1988, life as a single mother of 3 had already taken a toll. Without her husband's income, Ellen was forced to declare bankruptcy and ultimately lost the house.
I'm gonna stamp on these nails. Hopefully they'll stamp on the gel top coat and then I can just top coat them again. Dominic, can you bring me the paper towels, hon?
She was behind on most of her utility bills to the point where the phone company had disconnected her service and was now garnishing her wages. Eventually, she got a second job delivering pizzas 4 nights a week. It made paying the rent a little easier, but it also meant she was working over 60 hours a week, in addition to dealing with the day-to-day responsibilities of raising a family of small children by herself. Luckily, Ellen's mother was always willing to watch the children whenever she needed, including when she planned a road trip with the sunset. Wrestling was really the one thing she had to look forward to these days, and Catherine was happy to take the kids for a few nights so she could let off some steam every now and then. That Thanksgiving, she ordered a heat-and-serve meal from the local
Alright, I think I might use the 2 people swinging in the hammock of 2 palm trees right there, and then maybe that image on the other nail. Ooh, that image does look better.
Ended up falling asleep in the car on the way home.
Alright, I changed my mind. I'm going to use this image on the middle now with the palm trees, and then probably the other palm tree image.
Front door, however, little David was revitalized by the bane of every parent's existence, his second wind. While his siblings went off to bed without a fuss, 2-year-old David just wasn't having it. Being the energetic handful that he was, this was a pretty common thing.
And I'm going to
Ellen
stamp
tried
in
to tuck
black
him in a
for the
couple
one.
of times, but much to her dismay, he just wouldn't stay in bed. Eventually, she gave up and let him watch TV with her while she tackled some ironing. A short while later, Ellen decided
how
to
about
call
an
up
ice
an
cream
old friend
sandwich?
to see how her own Thanksgiving celebration
The
was
chocolate
going.
chips are for
They
cookies.
chatted for a while, mostly small talk about what they had for dinner and how the children were doing. She
I'm going to make chocolate chip
mention that
cookies
David
with
hadn't been
somebody.
feeling too well. He was fighting off a cold or something, she thought. Or maybe the pre-cooked turkey that they had that night made him a little sick. What her friend didn't know, of course, was that the little boy had been perfectly fine a few minutes ago, aside from a case of the sniffles.
Why don't you have a bowl of cereal then?
Motionless on the floor in front of his mother, with his lips turning blue. Throughout the entire 15-minute conversation, Ellen was staring down at her son, watching the color drain out of his face as she casually talked about the events of the day. She shot the shit with her friend for a little while longer before choosing the perfect moment to interrupt. "Something's wrong with David. I have to let you go." Ellen hung up almost before the woman on the other line could even say goodbye, but she didn't think much of it. What mother hasn't cut a phone call short in order to keep their toddler from painting the bathroom with the contents of their diaper or winning a Darwin Award? After calling for an ambulance, Ellen woke her other children and said that their brother had stopped breathing and needed to go to the hospital. Then she told them to get dressed while she went to find help.
Picked up.
It's Boscov's Father's Day sale. Great gifts, great selections, always low prices at all Boscov's.
When the paramedics arrived at 4720 South Broadway, apartment 501, nobody came to the door. After pounding on the door for much longer than you'd expect when being summoned to save someone's child, Ellen's daughter finally answered and let them in. The poor girl was clearly terrified, and her mother was nowhere to be found. When asked where she was, the little girl, who we'll call Sarah out of respect for her privacy, simply told them that her mother had gone downstairs to get help. David was still laying on the floor. He was in full cardiac arrest.
And we're
As
going
one of
to
the first responders began mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, the other
these
worked
palm
to get him
trees
prepped for the
here
ride to the hospital as quickly as he could. It was a process that took the better part of 10
on
minutes.
the corner.
Ellen appeared just as they were about to get David loaded up into the ambulance. When asked what had happened to her son, she didn't have much information to give them, aside from the fact that he'd been sick recently. To the paramedics, Ellen seemed unusually chill about the fact that her son's heart had stopped beating out of nowhere. Everyone responds to stressful situations differently.
Just gonna go on the ring
Mothers with
finger.
not breathing babies aren't typically known for being the strong, silent type when watching their children get wheeled outside on a stretcher. They asked if she wanted to ride to the hospital with them, but Ellen declined. She said she had to get someone to watch her other children first, and she would be on her way there as soon as she could. When she arrived at the hospital a while later, the doctors were still scrambling to save her son.
You can get it, or just wait until I'm done with the live. I'm almost done. I got a top coat.
To stay alive. On top of that, he also had a fever of 101 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius. So the nurses surrounded his body with ice packs to cool it down. But no matter
I'm going to activate my other nails and we'll top coat
the next morning,
with gel the accent nails. Make sure this is activator.
Deanne, who told her that she would come to the hospital as soon as she got off work. Deanne didn't really grasp the severity of the situation until Ellen took her back to see the boy. They stayed at his bedside for a while, and then Ellen told her that she was going to take a nap in the waiting room. Given the circumstances, Deanne didn't think much of it. After staying up all night and day in the hospital with her gravely ill child, a little shut-eye would probably
these two nails, I'm going to put the 2-in-1
David and wake her up if there was any change in his condition. Before she left, though, Deanne asked if Ellen had told her mother yet.
I'm just kind of floating it over it just to make sure I don't pull any image.
Sure, but people can do all sorts of
it dries pretty quick, but I'm sure it's not fully dry.
Right? Deanne spent the next few hours sitting by David and wondering how Ellen had the strength to get through the night. The pain of seeing him like this was almost unbearable. It must have been 1,000 times worse for his mother. Just before 11:30 p.m., a doctor asked her to step outside for a while so they could run some tests to check for brain activity. Deanne obliged, making her way to the waiting room, where Ellen was still asleep. Roughly an hour later, the doctor came in with the test results.
Deanne
woke her friend up and told her what they found, or rather, what they didn't find. David was brain dead. Despite doing everything they could to save him, the scan showed no brain activity whatsoever. The doctor told them to go home for the night and promised to call if anything changed. So Deanne took Ellen back to her place.
What are you
On the way
guys
there,
thinking so
Deanne made
far?
a comment about
You
how
think it's
exhausted
alright?
Ellen must be after a long, sleepless night in the hospital.
I love these Revel flakies. They're
Actually gone
gorgeous.
home that night
The
because she
colors
wanted
are
to
so
get a good
bright,
night's sleep.
and you got all the colors of the
Deanne was
rainbow.
completely blindsided.
Pink, orange,
She
yellow,
thought
green,
Ellen had
blue,
been
and
at David's
purple.
bedside all this time. It was hard to imagine a mother sleeping peacefully in her own bed while her 2-year-old was alone in the hospital fighting for his life.
Dominic's
When they
playing
returned
his
the following
harmonica.
morning, the nurse told them that a second brain scan
You can
showed
for a
no
ride.
changes.
If it's
There was
charged,
no
I
hope
just plugged
for
it
him
in.
now. He would
You
never
can go
wake
for a
up,
ride
and the
today if
only
you want.
thing keeping him alive was the respirator. Because of that,
Alright.
the doctor suggested it might be time to take him off life support and let him go. Deanne was
Wipe these
devastated, but Ellen
off,
was
and then
eerily
I will top
composed,
coat.
even as she told the
I'm
doctor
using
to turn
Model
off
1
the machines.
liquids. I
When
used
asked what
them
could
for the
have killed
first
him,
time
the doctor said they hadn't
yesterday.
been able to
Whoa, I
find
used them for
anything, but they
swatching
believed
and
he
stuff,
probably
and
succumbed to SIDS,
on my nails.
sudden
And
infant
seems
death
like
syndrome. That didn't really sound right to Deanne, though. David wasn't an infant after all. He was a rambunctious 2-year-old in perfect health. He had long passed the age where the chances of crib death were the highest. As the doctor left to turn off David's ventilator, Ellen called her mother. She asked her to put Sarah on the phone and began to tell her what happened, but Deanne immediately interrupted. No 7-year-old should ever be informed of their brother's death over the phone.
Wait a
That was a
second, and then
conversation
we'll
you had to have face to
top
face.
coat the rest.
Ellen was displaying a kind of callousness that Deanne had
I
never
love
seen
playing with the neon
and she had no
pigments.
idea
There's so
what to
much you
make
can
of it,
do with them.
especially when she casually asked the doctors if they wanted any of his organs for
My
science.
finger's stuck.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
they explained that he wouldn't be a good
Let's do a
candidate
second
for
layer.
organ donation due to his fever. Throughout the entire ordeal, Ellen hadn't cried once, even as Deanne was racked with sobs. Was it possible to be in such a state of shock that you turned into an emotionless void just like her? David Brian Bowen was pronounced dead at 3:40 p.m. on November 26, 1988. A few days later, the St. Louis medical examiner, a man by the name of Dr. Michael Graham, performed the little boy's autopsy. Meanwhile, Ellen took the day off to take care of David's funeral arrangements. While she was out and about, she stopped by a payphone and called Deanne at work to tell her that she was going to pick up tickets for the next wrestling event when she was done at the funeral home. It was the first day they were on sale, which meant they would have to act quickly if they wanted to get good seats. Deanne offered to pick them up. Ellen had enough on her plate already without worrying about wrestling
What do you
tickets,
think, guys?
but her friend refused. She said she was already out running errands anyway, so it wasn't much of an inconvenience. Besides, she already knew where they were going to sit. For most parents, wrestling would be the last thing on their minds after the
Where's that
death of their
bottle?
child.
Bottles?
But
I
then
think I
again,
left them
Ellen
all
wasn't
open.
most parents.
Just
On November
about.
28th, Paul and Terry Bowen received a phone call from Terry's mother, who informed them of David's death. Paul contacted his ex-wife immediately. After explaining what had happened to their son, Ellen told him she didn't have enough money to bury him. Since Paul was a veteran, she knew he could probably have David buried there at little or no cost.
Little
But for some reason,
imperfections
she didn't
in
want him
the
there. She wanted to bury him at Trinity
neon
Cemetery
pigments,
instead, in a
but
section reserved
nothing
for very young
major.
children. Paul didn't like that idea at all, but there wasn't much he could do about it. He was all the way out in Arizona, and he was just about as broke as she was, so he wouldn't have even been able to travel back to St. Louis for the funeral. After a heated argument that lasted the better part of 3 hours, Ellen ultimately got her way.
It's a yellow
David
acrylic
was
here.
put to rest in Trinity Cemetery, right next to all the other children that were taken from their parents too soon. At the funeral, Ellen showed very little emotion. Some people thought her stoicism was her way of staying strong for her other children.
I think we're having spaghetti and meatballs tonight because I have to use a hamburger.
It was hard for them to imagine how a mother could look at her baby lying in
Chicken
a coffin
tomorrow.
and not break down.
Just waiting
After
on
David's
these to dry,
burial, Ellen
ladies.
refused to pay the $2,348 bill from the funeral home, despite never mentioning any complaints about her son's
Here's the
service.
finished
She also hadn't paid for a headstone, despite Deanne reminding her several times in the weeks that followed. No matter how many times she brought it up, Ellen kept stalling, even though she had the money
I
for
like
it,
it. I
thanks
think
to
it
a
turned out cute.
$5,000 life insurance policy that she had through her job. On top of that, her friends and coworkers had pitched in to raise around $1,000 for the grieving mother. The week after the fight with Ellen, Terry Bowen had an appointment with her obstetrician. While
I
she
can't
was
wait to
there,
get some
she asked the
cuticle
doctor how
oil on
common
my
crib death
fingers.
was for 2-year-olds. The doctor told her it was damn near impossible. Despite getting confirmation from a medical professional that David's death certainly seemed suspicious, there wasn't much they could do about it from hundreds of miles away.
I think
With
I'm going
one
to
kid
use
gone
my
and her
Grimes
bank account
Ridge
close to
cuticle oil again
$6,000
today.
richer, Ellen's financial struggles were temporarily relieved. It was easy money, and she was beginning to wonder if there was ways to make even more. So what if she had to kill a kid or two to get it? David's death had kicked off a chain reaction, and now both of his siblings were in grave danger. They just didn't know it yet. By January of the next year, Ellen Bowen was broke again. She'd used the life insurance money to take her surviving children to Disney World, and whatever was left went to fund a wrestling trip with her best friend. She did have another $10,000 life insurance policy on each of her children through a company called John Hancock Life Insurance. But when she called and tried to cash David's policy in, she was informed that it had been canceled due to non-payment. She'd gotten too far behind on the premiums on all three accounts, and now she wouldn't be able to collect on any of them. But that was okay, because she was hatching a backup plan. Ellen was back to working 2 jobs. She borrowed money from Deanne on occasion and always paid her back
here's
on
my
payment.
Grimes Ridge.
Her best friend was sympathetic to the single mother's
This
plight. They both knew that there
apple
was no hope of
bourbon.
getting
It
child
smells so
support
good.
from Ellen's ex-husband, and Deanne respected the fact that she was a hard worker.
Got some
On the
black
outside,
there.
it looked like
I don't know what
Ellen
it
was
is.
doing the best she could with the hand that she had been dealt. But on the inside, certain gears were beginning to turn in her head.
I cut myself
By the
on
beginning
Nick's
of
grill
1989,
spatula.
the 2 women had
And
drifted
then
apart
washing
somewhat,
it the
but
other
remained
day.
close.
Cut myself
Deanne had
pretty
moved to
bad,
Illinois,
like
but
right
they still
there.
talked on the
I was
phone
worried
almost
at first
every
I was
day,
going to
and they
need
often grabbed lunch
stitches or
together.
something.
Often during their meetings, Ellen would point out some random guy and give this detailed story about how they were madly
Oh, it
in love and
came?
were going to run away
Nice.
together. Deanne
I'm
knew
glad,
most of it was
Tara.
bullshit.
Thank
She'd
you,
spent enough time with
Gorma.
Ellen to know that she was prone to exaggerating and lies of omission. There wasn't exactly a line of suitors bearing down on her front door, although Ellen seemed to want people to believe otherwise. But Deanne knew the truth. The story she overheard her friend telling
use the
people about her
purple
wild
sleeve,
flings with guys in a
or we
wrestling
can use
circuit
this
almost
one.
always had some kernel of truth to them. They might have shared
Maybe
a
we'll
polite
use this
conversation with
one.
a wrestler
It's not the
after a
same
match,
as the
or they
pink
might have
nails,
run
but
into a
it does
manager
have
for some
that
big name in the
orangey
industry at a bar.
coral.
But Ellen would twist the story after the fact,
Or do I
spice it
want
up with some juicy details,
Yeah, we're doing
and turn
purple.
the story
It
into
pops
something
more.
it wasn't. Something that would make her seem desirable to the men she idolized, even though they
Okay.
never returned.
You guys
for her
know my
romances.
sleeves are from Looney Lou
Once, while they were having
Designs, and you
lunch
can
together,
save there with
there was
code
a twin man a few
Tara
tables over and told Deanne that his name was Jeff Stark. He was
Put
a
my
staff
clip
consultant
on
at
to
the
tighten
company she
it
worked for,
up.
and he'd recently turned down her invitation to go out for drinks together. But to hear Ellen tell it, they were planning a weekend trip. She described their plans in detail, how they
See
would
what
get
we're
2
gonna use for
rooms, one
jewelry
for them and one for Ellen's kids, and how they would register
I
one
use
of the
my
rooms
giant
under each of
butterfly
their
ring
names.
again.
She even mentioned that they would be taking
No,
his
I think
car
I'm
and
gonna. I
hotels
could go
in
with
St.
summer
Louis,
rings,
but by this point,
but I
they
think
had
I'm gonna
already checked out.
use
All you had to do was look at the
these
guy she
ones
was
because I
talking
love
about
them
to
so
know Ellen
much. The
was full of shit.
butterfly
Handsome dudes in their 20s aren't typically the type to fall for an unattractive
flower.
woman with 2 kids and a lot of emotional baggage.
Those
They
ones,
generally
they're so
had much
pretty.
better options available to them in the dating
Gold.
scene.
There's another
After
one
weekend,
too, another
Deanne did some
little
fact checking. While Ellen was
butterfly right
supposedly
here.
frolicking with her new man in Cleveland, Deanne took a drive to St. Louis to see if Ellen's car was still parked in its
Also,
usual
I can
spot.
pick it up.
If she was really at SeaWorld like she said she was going to be, it should have been sitting there.
There's a
Except it
single
wasn't.
there. I forget
The
it.
car
I
was
can't
gone,
get
presumably
it.
because Ellen was out running her typical
All
errands as
right.
opposed to getting splashed by Shamu in Cleveland. When Deanne got back
Here
home,
is
her suspicions
the
were further
finished
confirmed after
Manny
a quick call to
using
the hotel Ellen claimed they would be staying at during the meeting
slap
occasion.
bracelet and charm necklace from the Revel Nail and Neon
Deanne wasn't particularly
Flake Collection. I'm not sure if it has another name. And then I just used the white gel polish called Marshmallow from Luxie Nail on the 2 accent nails. That leaves like a sticky, tacky residue, and then I just ombre the neon pigments and then stamped over it. So I'm happy with how it came out. I like it. I'm gonna go do pictures. Have a great weekend, you guys. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I appreciate you all. Enjoy your afternoon and weekend, of course. I'll see you back here on Monday, okay? Bye,
It
guys.
wasn't like Ellen had much going for her these days. She hadn't had a date since Paul, and now her youngest son was dead. She was overworked and overwhelmed.